into your account to spin. And you can win some really cool stuff in the content store and the software store. And if you just log in and check this out, it's worth your try. You can get some really cool stuff. $200 vouchers, $500 vouchers even. So it's a lot of money right there. All kinds of cool stuff that you can win. So make sure you check this out. I'm going to throw this link into the chat window for you guys. Here, bing, there we go. All right, yeah. I wish I had that $500 voucher. Yeah, that's quite a nice little prize there. That's one of the bigger ones we've ever offered, I think. Also wanted to mention as well, of course, if you are a student or a teacher, make sure you check out our Global Training Center here. You can apply for a 60% discount for all of our software. So that's the biggest discount we offer. So if you are a student or a teacher, this is the place you want to check out. And yeah, give that a shot. And again, you get the biggest discount that we offer. So much worth it. I also want to mention as well, we actually have a new Mocap plugin here. This is in teaming up with Quick Magic. Really cool stuff. Taking motion capture from video. I've just been able to mess around with this a little bit myself. Works really well. And with iClone's, motion editing tools, it makes it basically a flawless workflow. So highly recommend checking this out, guys. It's a free download, so make sure you take a look. And that's really all the promo stuff we have to go through. We are recording this webinar, just in case you guys have to step away for some reason. We are recording it, so no worries there. If you miss something, we're recording it, and we will provide you with a recording at the end of today's webinar. And we're also live streaming this on YouTube, just for those of you who are aware, maybe watching on YouTube. But in the Zoom webinar, are going to be answering Q&A. We're going to have a Q&A session where we're going to be answering some questions for you guys. And Solomon and I will both participate in that at the end of Solomon's live demo, which is going to be really cool. So hope you stick around for all that. And you can put your questions in the Q&A panel in Zoom there. Unfortunately, we won't be answering questions from the YouTube live chat, just in Zoom. So make sure you join with the Zoom link. And yeah, I think that's about really all I have to go through. Solomon, do you have anything else you wanted to add there?
I just wanted to welcome everybody from around the world. For those who have stayed up really late, thank you so much for sparing the time to join us.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the late people are probably in Europe and in Africa now. It's, the
Yeah.
night owls are joining us from those locations. It's already morning here in Japan, so cool. Yeah, I think that with all that said, I don't really have much else to introduce. Just again, like Solomon said, thanks to everyone for joining us today. From around the world, we got Mali, we got everywhere.
Wow,
Um,
from Mali.
yeah,
That's awesome.
looks like it. Solomon, you ready to roll?
Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you
I'll
so
hand the
much,
screen over to
guys.
you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kai, for inviting me to be part of this. It's awesome. And today we're going to be talking about CC5 characters for how we can use them or prepare them for use in films in the Unreal Engine 5.6 and later on in 5.7. And I hope everyone can hear me very well. Good morning, everyone. And it's 8 o'clock on my side. So if you're in the future, please tell us what the future holds. So today, let me share my screen. I'm going to share the entire screen with sound. All right, please let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen, Kai? I don't know if you can hear me. Yes, okay.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't talking. I thought I was still unmuted. Yeah, I can see you.
It's all right. Okay, so we're going to be starting in Character Creator 5, and I'm going to highlight several things that you're definitely going to need to be able to take advantage of what I'm going to show you today. As everyone might know, if you're new to Character Creator, is that you're able to use this system to create all manner of character types, right? And one of the, of course, leading uses is going to be creating realistic characters, and that's going to be the focus today. And one thing that you're going to definitely need to take advantage of this ability that I'm going to show you is going to be Actor Mixer. And we're also going to need HD animation. This is the new addition to Character Creator 5 that makes it possible for you to like do facial animation for characters. And then, of course, you're going to need SkinGen, which is going to be, this is how we're going to be able to prepare our characters to look great in the Unreal Engine. Then in the Unreal Engine itself, we're going to go to Edit over here, go to Plugins, make sure that you will have the Realism plugins installed. The Character Creator UE Control Rig is extremely important. Character Creator and iClone Auto Setup. That's going to help you convert all those beautiful textures that you see in Character Creator so they look great inside of the Unreal Engine. And if you plan on using a live link, I don't know if we'll be able to get to that in this webinar, but that's another way of being able to send characters from Character Creator, especially no, actually from iClone to the Unreal Engine. So let me go ahead and minimize that. So today we're not going to be working with MetaHumans. It's going to be purely Character Creator file. So here's a scene that I've prepared. And this one is based on this set that I saw on Fab. So anytime that you're trying to make a short film, my recommendation is for you to go to Fab and do a search on some environment. So this, in the past, there've been like a time when Epic Games will give away free environments. So that's how I was able to grab one of these. So when I saw this, I was like, okay, this would be great to use for an environment. And one thing that is really helpful in some of these environments is that it's already lit, like there are already lights in this scene. So you really just have to drop your characters in here. But sometimes if the scene, for example, this one was updated, I think in 2024, which means you're going to need to convert some of the lighting to work in the Unreal Engine 5.6 because they've introduced mega lights in the Unreal Engine 5.6. So just pay attention to these last update dates over here because that will let you know if it's compatible with the current Unreal Engine version that you're working with. Okay, so this is the one that I picked up and I was able to convert some of the lines. So the things that you probably need to, and even before you add your characters, I would recommend definitely working with the lights. So for example, in here, let me zoom out a little bit. I'm going to press the G key to bring out some of the light. So if you choose to use one of these environments, my recommendation is go to each of the lights. Let me see if I can find one over here and select it. And let me see, let's expand this a little bit more. Okay, so with the way that it's structured, the light, it may appear like you've selected the light, but you need to go to the details panel and select the actual light, which is a rec light. And then this is where you start adjusting the lighting. So in here, if you increase this lighting, you can actually see it impacting the environment over here. And if you have multiples of these lights, of course, it's going to you start seeing the difference with that. And this is made possible because of Lumen. So in your projects folder, rather your project settings, not folder, project settings, go to the rendering tab and bring it back over here, project settings, bring it up and then go scroll all the way down under engine, look for rendering over here and scroll all the way down and make sure that you are using Lumen for the dynamic global illumination. You're using Lumen for the reflection, and you're using virtual shadow maps and enable megalights and also ray trace shadows. Now, depending on the machine that you have, you may need to turn off the ray trace shadows. My machine can handle it because I have about 48 gigabytes on my graphics card. It's a 6000 ADA. So if the better the graphics card, the better you're going to be able to see all these changes that you can see like right here. And that's the beauty of the Unreal Engine is that if you have a good GPU, you're going to be able to light really well. And whatever you see in the scene, that's what you're going to be rendering out essentially. And you're also going to be able to see the nice textures that are going to come with the characters. Like, for example, if you look at the belt over here, like the chest, like this vest, all of these have been converted using the auto convert for iClone and CC. So this is what I have so far in terms of the lighting. Now, if you don't have like enough light that you feel like it's not enough for some of these sets, you can also add a rectangular light. So for example, here, I have this rectangular light that I added, and I did that by going over here to lights, and then I picked up the rectangular light, just add one, like in the scene, and you can actually see starting to impact the environment right there. So this one right is an example. So if I want to like highlight a part of the character, I'm just going to bring it over here, press the E key to rotate, turn it around a little bit, raise it up. Okay. And then what I usually do also is I go to the light properties. Let me press the G key real quick so you can actually see how the light is starting to impact the character. Bring it back. So let me hide this camera for a second. So this light right here, if you go into the details panel on this side, let's move project settings out of the way. And if you go to the details panel and under the light itself, you're going to see the intensity over here. So this is where you can control the intensity. Again, because of real-time lighting, it's going to make it possible for you to light the scene and the models this way. Now, the reason why I'm talking about lighting at this stage is that if you don't have your lights set up properly, when you start importing the characters, it won't be as easy to set up the animations and like preparing the sets. So for example, I mean, if I go to unlit, for example, right here, this is, I mean, if you're doing animation, this is a good way to start, right? If you're doing like keyframe animation, even the mocap itself. But if you're doing mocap, I think it helps to actually see the environment and also the lighting that's coming in from the different parts of the lights that you've added, so you can see the textures. So the character itself is here in Character Creator. This is the one that we are going to work with. And this model started off as a very basic model. And I also used the SWAT pack from the marketplace. And I'm trying to keep track of the time so that we have the cue at the end. But the character itself, I'm going to walk you through how you're able to go from here all the way to the Unreal Engine to get the character to look like that, right? And right now I have this character on the sequence over here, and I've actually added some animation. If I play it back and loop it, you can actually see the subtle animation, the idle. So depending on what you want to do, if you're going to use a motion capture suit, depending on the story that you're trying to tell, act out the parts, record them, and then import them into, my suggestion would be iClone, because that's where you're able to edit it even more. So for example, in iClone over here, you can see some of the mockup that I was editing. So this character is supposed to be part of the sequence, but again, due to time, I wasn't able to bring him just yet, but I'll bring in a different character so you can actually see it. This character right here is the one that I was able to export into the Unreal Engine, right? So you can see him on this side over here. And the good thing about the new control rig feature for the Unreal Engine is that all the mockup that you're able to export from iClone can be applied to all these characters. So just an overall picture, the end result needs to be you with your characters with the animation on them inside of the Unreal Engine. But you have to start with a story. You have to think of, what do you want this character to be doing? Is it going to be like standing there, talking about this crime scene? And if so, then you have to work out, you have to prepare your motion capture data to work according to the story that you have written. So for me, what I did was I used the Rococo motion capture suite, and I shot 4 clips. One was for the robot coming into the room. The second one was for the sergeant that is in the scene back here, that is supposed to be telling the story of how this robot is working, and then the captain himself over here. So this is the animation here. I wore the motion capture suit and I was able to record the story that I was trying to play out, but I also had a head-mounted camera rig on my head. as I was acting out the parts of it, right? So as you're telling this story, just keep in mind that everything that you're doing here, of course, you're going to be pretending, but it would help. Like if you have your environment in your office or your mockup space, you can put boxes around to kind of guide you where the character is supposed to be. For example, if it's going to be looking at this murder scene, like blowout, you need to be able to look at the character. So you can put something like maybe a cube of some kind so that the character goes over there, right? So the character starts off. Let me actually do a brand new project over here. And I'm going to go to the template folder. I'm going to go all the way to the top, go to actor, and I'm going to drop down to base, the base models. So if you're in pack, make sure you switch to item mode over here so that you can actually see the drop down. Then under character, you're going to have the base. And if you scroll all the way down, these are the current bases that we have, right? So there's a base for CC3 plus over here that you can start with. Now, these can be converted to CC5 characters to support the HD profile, right? But if you want, you can just go to the character tab over here and scroll all the way down. And then you're going to see CC4, CC4 Camilla. All these are CC3 plus characters. You can start with all of these type of characters. Now, there's also like some that are just for real time, these ones. Again, I don't recommend you using these because these are supposed to be for games. I would recommend starting with CC3 plus characters over here. Okay, so let me go ahead and open scene that I'd started with. It's going to be Lab 2025. It's going to be film. C5, scenes, short film, and let's start with this one. All right, let's give it a second to load. All right, so this is the character I started with, and I recommend putting some underwear on him in case you're working with your coworkers at the office. So this is the character I started with. This was actually a character that came as a CC5 character that I just applied texture, and I'll let me go back to the character over here, goes to the pack, and I'm going to go to the anatomy, the CC5 characters. So this is under the template, under actor, under character, and I'm selecting the pack tab over here, and then double clicking on CC5 character. So in here, you're going to have Aaron, HD Aaron. This Aaron character comes in with the profile for support for the MetaHuman Animator. This one also comes for Arena, also supports the MetaHuman Animator, but these two down here, Camilla and Kevin, need to be converted. And so this one also needs to be converted. So the one that I started with was one of these, the HD Neutral CC avatars that I was able to open. And then for the textures, I did the same thing. I went to the pack over here, and let's go back to the pack. And I went to character, and then there's the anatomy set as well. Let's go to actor and CC5 HD textures. This one, double click on that. And it has some beautiful textures in here that you're able to use. That's what I was able to. So once you have your character started over here, you can start with a face. For example, I had two characters that I wanted to do for the film, right? So there was the captain, and then there's also the sergeant on this side that looks different. Hold on, let me go back. First go to my editor preferences over here and change to orbit around selection. So orbit camera around selection. And then I can rotate around the character. So that is the sergeant that I wanted. I wanted him to be different, right? And then the captain on this side also looks a little bit different. So the way I was able to do that with character creator is use the actor mixer over here. So the way I'm approaching this is I usually don't even do actor mixer until I've added all the textures that I need. And because I want to be able to do variations of like a character. So it could be a Caucasian character, it could be Asian or African American, but whatever character you choose, right? Make sure that at least this is my approach. I always wait for after I've done the editing to be able to apply the actor mixer, right? But after, like, I'll go ahead and bring up the texture editor over here. It's activated. And the end goal again is, depending on the story that you have written for yourself, is you want to customize the character to come as close as possible to the persona of the character that you're going to be using to tell the story. So this part of the is kind of process intensive. So please bear with me while this loads. Depending on the speed of your computer, this might take a long time or not. So this is going to take off the eyebrows so that you can focus on the skin itself. So under the SkinGen over here, this setting over here, I can go to, actually before, let me first deactivate the editor. And I'm going to load SkinGen. I want to point out a few things. So what SkinGen will do for you, let's go this SkinGen, is that it's going to make it possible for you to add all manner of imperfections. So I think you guys, if you're familiar with working with MetaHumans, some of the challenges that you encounter are that it's very difficult to put imperfections specifically where you want them, right? They have some slots that they are automatically giving you. But I think for CC5, for character creator, it's much easier for you to start adding little details on the character so that you prepare that you prepare them to use in the Unreal Engine. That's why I'm recommending using SkinGen for this part of it. So I'm going to go to get out of the pack, go to item. So the moment you stay in pack, it's going to kind of take away all these options. So make sure you go back to the item slot over here. And we're going to go to the skin part over here. And SkinGen comes with a number of like components here. You have full skin, you have skin base, and then you have the head, for example. So if I double click on the head, you have CC5 human 2K, and then you have CC5 human 4K. So I double click on that, and then there's the actor core library, and then you have the different characters in here. There's female Asian, female Caucasian, Middle East. So if I double click on male African, in here, you have the skin that you can start with, right? They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters that you can start with. So for example, if you wanted to use this one, simply select the character that you're working with, double click on this, and apply all of these to the character. And then you can start customizing it. This is like a template that you can start with. And it's similar to kind of what the MetaHuman has, but in a sense that this gives you more control with SkinGen, because after you've applied the texture, then you're able to go in on the granular level, start adding scarring, change the pores, adjust the eyes, the eyebrows, the lips, you name it. Everything will be able to become like editable once you've applied this, the starting of that. Now, this is they told that age is 23. So if you start to, depending on the story that you're telling, if your character is much older, then you probably want to use a character that is a little bit older, who has like some kind of wrinkles. Like if you scroll all the way down, this one, age 27, age 26, all the way up to like age 18, right? So the good thing about, again, SkinGen is that even though it starts off with like an 18-year-old, you can still add more detailing to make the character look even older than that. So we have a new texture right now, and this is a full body texture. It goes all the way down. So you can adjust it. So if you wanted to change the characters like skin to be a little darker, then that's when you activate the editor over here, right? So in terms of other little things that you can do, because again, you don't want the characters looking the same if the character is going to be close to the camera. So that's when you start adding little imperfections here and there. So we've used this as a starting block, this template over here, but we can go back to SkinGen all the way to the head and the skin, and then we can do overall imperfections over here. So instead of using CC5 human HK, you can also use these other options down here, like realistic human skin. If you open that, you can see like these are the textures that are provided, and you can use those as well. Now, these are based on the CC3 plus characters, so the textures might not be as great as the CC5 character. So if you want to like really use this for film, then I'll recommend using the CC5 human 4K characters over here. Now, in terms of like makeup, if you have a female character, it's pretty much the same thing. You have like full makeup, then you have like different like eye makeup, you have eyelashes and all of that. So for our guy right here, because I have like a starting block, and this character is actually, if you're making like maybe a group of soldiers, then really you have this starting block as doesn't need a lot of changing, except if you go to actor mixer over here, you can select current. Don't choose base male or base female. Use the current one and click on start. So you'll be able to generate different types of characters based on this texture. And then you can edit the texture to be able to create unique faces, right? Because when you look at the one that's in the Unreal Engine, this captain use one of the textures, but it looks different from him because I was able to add like a slightly lighter skin for this character compared to the captain as well on this side. So I'll go back to character creator over here. So we have the actor mixer, and I think this is a powerful addition to character creator 5, is that these models right here, the heads, give you the like something that is similar to MetaHumans, but even better, right? Because you're able to do full body mixing as well as like individual pieces. So if you're happy with the body, you can focus on just the head, for example, and then you can drag and drop some heads in here. So I'll go to the template over here, and I'm going to go to the actor mixer library, and I'm going to choose male African over here. So you have a bunch of heads that you can start with, and you can simply drag and drop it in one of these slots, right? And you can see that it has changed over there. Let me see, can I move this? Let me minimize that. Yeah, and then you can bring in another one and drop it in another slot, like over here. Right. So once the slots are added, you can then go to click on Start Mixing. And this will give you the ability to be able to customize the heads to be unique, right? So let me zoom in closer. And once you click on Start Mixing and it turns green, there will be like a green icon that shows up. Now, when I move to either of these characters, you can see the head changing. And that's how you're able to create like unique models out of the same texture, right? And you can see the lips are also changing. And there's also, you can have in betweens like here and there, right? And once you're happy, then you can actually save this model one by one. So I'll go to my custom tab over here. I'm going to go to my folder over here, the film, and I'll show you some of the different characters that I was able to create. So on this side, I have this soldier and another soldier. They're both different. And then I have this one and this one and this one. So when you're happy with the look, normally what I don't save the characters until I've dressed them up. But if you want to just save this model, you can click on him, like zoom in so that it's framed, and then just press save over here. Give it a name, like maybe soldier 4, could be any, and click OK. So that's one soldier that you've saved, right? So if we look up, I gotta make sure that I'm in the actor tab, custom character in the film over here. All right. So let me do that again, just to be sure. I'm in custom film. Okay. So once you're happy with that, you can then go back to start mixing again and do a different character. So the reason why it didn't save is because you have to click on the start mixing again. Right. So we have this one. We can then press save over here. Just say 01 for the sake of time. Okay. So there's the character, right? And when you want to create another one, just click on start mixing again. And let's move to a different model. So maybe like this guy right here. Click on start mixing to exit. And then we're going to click away from the one that is being saved and click save. And we're going to say 02. Okay. So that's how you start creating a bank of different characters that then you can start dressing up and using exporting to the Unreal Engine. So one thing you can do apart from just mixing, you can also mix the skin, but under the active, okay, yes, under the activate editor, you can go back to the SkinGen component and start adding the detailing. So if you want one of the characters to have a scar, for example, you can, even after you add the scar, you can still do the actor mixer to be able to then create a unique version of that character. So let's wait if I show you. SkinGen, 83%, 95. Okay, almost there. All right, you can select the skin base, right? And if you don't like the roughness, for example, you can scroll down all the way to the bottom here and look for roughness. And then you can adjust the roughness as well to give the character a little bit of life. So it doesn't just look down. Now, even if you adjust the top, which is just the head, if you click on the body, CC5 is smart enough to apply the same setting that you've done to the rest of the body. So don't be afraid to just do your work on the head, add the skinning, add the tattoos, whatever you need. And then at the end, just click on the body and you'll be able to convert it. And then up on the texture over here, you can also drop this down and convert that to 4096 to get like a really high resolution texture, right? So if once you're happy with the character, with the skin, then starts the dressing up. So I'm going to go back to the pack over here, go to template. I'm going to go to the pack. I'm going to look for SWAT. Press enter. I'm going to be in, click on all. And so SWAT uniforms, these are available on the Realism marketplace. So if I double click on that, I'll be able to start dressing the character. So I'll start with the top. So just pick maybe a blue one instead. Just double cancel. Excuse me, sorry. Please make sure you exit editor. Sometimes I get excited and I leave the editor too quick, but make sure you click on deactivate the editor so that you can then start dressing the character. Don't forget that part of it. So it's going to bake all the changes that you've made on the character. And the idea again is you're trying to make a photorealistic character that you can use in the Unreal Engine for your short film. But in order to do that, you have to give them some clothing as well. So I can double click on this and I'm going to keep the cloth shape and click OK. That is for the top. And this could be any outfit, depending on the character. If your character, for example, is in Rome somewhere, you could look for an outfit for a Roman soldier. If it's just maybe a sports character, then use the sports attire for that. But for this, we're trying to do like a police officer or soldier, a SWAT member. So we have the top added. Then we can go to the bottom. See where I can use. Which one can I use? Okay, We're going to use the same one, pants blue. Double click on that. And we'll automatically add that. So we have the top part of the outfit. And then we can also do boots. So we can pick the black. Sorry, black shoes. That's the material. Okay. So we have the boots ready. And if he's going to be like holding a gun, you can also give him some gloves. So give him the black gloves. Okay, there is. And then we're going to give him a helmet as well. So like the guy that you see in the scene right here. So the captain has a hat, but the sergeant has a helmet and it has the goggles up at the top. So if you intend to do like facial animation, then you probably want to use the ones that are up at the top. And this could be also like a model that you've created in ZBrush or in Maya, 3ds Max or Blender that you can actually apply to this character. So as long as it's converted or imported into Character Creator as a prop of some kind, so like you can go create and you're able to add like an accessory over here. It can be an accessory, it can be hair, it can be a prop. And then once you import it, then you'll be able to assign it to the head bone, the hand bone, or the full body. And then you can also transfer weight to that. So we're gonna apply this one. All right. So we have our, SWAT member ready. And the cool thing about Character Creator again is that you can select this character and towards the bottom, let me see if I can move this out of the way. There's an animation tab over here. So you can actually test the animation of this character to see how well the clothing are working. So we can do walk male to test out the animation. And press play. So there's the character fully dressed, right? With really nice textures, good uniform, gloves, right? Now, the SWAT, I think, collection comes with a gun as well. And that gun, fortunately, has already been designed to go into the hands of this SWAT member. So just like you see in the Unreal Engine over here, that's the gun that I used, this gun right here. It was automatically assigned to Character Creator over here. So that particular gun, let me go back to the pack over here. And I'm going to go and look for, click on all. And I want to search for SWAT. And it's the SWAT guns and extra gear. So if you double click on that, it comes with a number of weapons in here. So let me pick, let's see, which one can I use? Let's use this one, the black one. So I'm going to remove, go to motion tab over here, click and remove the animation. Let's move this over here so you can actually see. Click on remove animation all. And we're going to double click on that gun. And automatically it's going to add it to the right hand. And if you go to the scene tab over here and select it, you can actually see it has been assigned to the base, CC base right hand. So another cool thing is that there's actual mocap in here that is for the rifle. So if I go to the tab again and look for rifle, I'm going to go to all. I'm in the pack mode, go to rifle. And in the rifle pack, and this is on Actor Core, it has combat, it has patrol. So if I wanted this character to be like a soldier, just gonna be patrolling the maybe the station or just be around behind the track, you can either use combat over here, you can use patrol. So if I double click on patrol, there are different types of, like different like animations. So I'm going to double click on this one. And so there we have the animation, and I'm going to play it back so you can actually see him with the gun. Let me turn off the light over here so you can actually see him. It's loop, play back. So there's the character with the gun, with the uniform, ready for use in your short film. Now, the cool thing is that, again, you can go crazy. You can add all manner of edits over here, again, to line up with the story that you want. But all these assets, again, are really well done. They're well textured. They're ready for use in the Unreal Engine. So when you're happy with the model, you're happy with the animation, and maybe you even have your own custom mockup, you can then export this model. So I'll select the character. I'm going to go to File, Export. Then I'm going to go to FBX, then Clothed Character. But before I do that, let me go to the facial profile over here, select the character, and go to Edit Expressions, just to make sure that the profile is the HD, the CC5 HD. There it is right here. So that one I don't need to convert. I can click out of the expressions over there, and then I can export the character. So press J, just to focus on the character, and then you can bring back the Accessory lighting. Let's rewind this over here. And I'm going to go to File, Export, FBX, Clothed Character. And let's see, it's over here. At the top, you need to select the UE5 skeleton, Unreal skeleton. And because we have animation over here, we can then export mesh and motion. If we didn't have any animation, we'll just export the mesh. You can also choose to export just the motion, right? So for example, this animation that is over here on this character can be exported just as the animation and applied to the character inside of the Unreal Engine. Let's go back over here. So I recommend using SubD1. SubD2 looks great, but it takes a long time to import into the Unreal Engine. So I recommend using SubD over here. And also when the character, let me close this for a second. When the character is selected, also enable smooth mesh over here. So you can preview the different settings. So if you go to like level SubD2, you can see the difference. Like if you zoom in close to the character, you're going to see a little bit more detail on the character, right? But you can actually see the machine starting to struggle. So that's why I'm saying that please start with SubD1. It will look good and it will still be able to get the detailing that you see in Character Creator over here. So let's go to File, Export, FBX, Closed Character, and then SubD1, and you can choose to embed textures if you want. And current animation, click on all. I usually do 30 frames per second, then scroll all the way down. And one thing that I definitely recommend is that you delete hidden faces. You might not see it in the scene. Let me close this for a second. You might not see it right now, but this character, if I go to the scene tab and, for example, turn off the vest, you can see that the uniform has actually deleted parts of the character. Again, this is to save on resources. If you intend to do like a collision mesh, right, for your character, then don't delete the hidden meshes. Keep it. But if you don't intend to do any cloth simulation in the Unreal Engine, then delete the hidden meshes so that when you import this character into the Unreal Engine, there won't be like skin protruding through the clothing. And I'll show you how that looks like. So I'm gonna bring that back, right? Go back to our export settings over here, export FBX cloth character. That's 845. Okay, gotta run. All right, so current animation, delete hidden faces over here. There's also an option up at the top on the scale wheel. In here, again, make sure that a lot of these things are matching what you see on the screen, right? and make sure the morphs are included in the export settings, because you're going to need those inside of the Unreal Engine. So we can close that. So I export the character, and I'm going to show you what it looks like inside of the Unreal Engine, because when I'm importing, it takes a little bit of time. I'm going to show you the import of those characters. So under this folder right here, simply create a new folder in your Unreal Engine project, and then use that to import the character. So for example, right here, I imported the captain into this folder right here. And these are the files that were able to come in. And then what I was able to do is, after I imported that, remember that plugin that I was recommending, I think it's the control rig, the CCC control rig action. If you don't have this enabled or installed, you won't be able to, when you right click on the skeletal mesh of the character, this is the one that looks a little bit like purple or pinkish like that. If you right click on it and scroll down, right click on it and scroll down, you're going to see a create CC control rig. This is extremely important because this is the one that you're going to make, it's going to make it possible for you to apply MetaHuman Animator data to your character. So you can click on that, and once it's gone, you've selected it, it's going to create this folder called rigs. In that rigs folder, there will be a new blueprint. This is called soldier MP. It's going to be the name of your character, and then rig underscore BP. This is the one that you need to drag into your scene. This is the one that you need to drag. So when you see this character right here that has that rig around him, the control rig, that's because I was able to drag this in here. So if I drag this and put him right here, you may not see the rig right away, but once you add him to a sequence, then you'll be able to see the control rig. So I'll go ahead and add him over here, drag and drop him, and there's the control rig. So that control rig makes it possible for this character to be compatible with the MetaHuman Animator. And what's really neat is like now I can actually select, for example, if I select the captain over here and go to the face, there's facial animation on him because we added that animation. So if I play it back, you can see the eyes are blinking, the mouth is moving. So the blend shapes are working. And this is what you're looking for, is that when you converted that character, the facial profile, the reason I was checking it, it's the one that makes it possible for you to add MetaHuman animation data to this character, right? So anything that you act, if you use like your iPhone, even if you use your Android phone to record a video clip, then you can use that video to convert it into like video that can be used on this character as a facial mockup data. So for MetaHuman, right? So this part of it is again, it's 8:49. I'm gonna see if I can stop if there are any questions, Kai, before we run out of time.
Oh yeah, sure, no problem. We have plenty of time. We often go over on our webinars anyways. So, but
Okay.
yeah, I think
Okay.
I mean, do you have anything more to show here? Or?
Yeah, I was gonna show like how I add the animation. So for example,
Sure.
this character is selected, and there's one that we've just added over here. Let me see if I can zoom. So this guy right here, I'm gonna bring him on this side. And the way you add animation to this character, again, we've added him to the our sequence over here, and I can actually create a new sequence. Let's go to over here, add a level sequence, and we're just gonna call this demo. And we're gonna select this character. Now, before you add him to the sequence, always go to the details panel over here and select the body and switch from use animation blueprint to use custom mode, right? Because that's how you're able to add your mockup data that you captured using your mockup suite, or even if you used a video mockup. So once it's done, just then click on the character and let's go back to the outliner, and we just drag and drop him into the sequence over here. And it's gonna come with a couple of like control rigs. These ones, you can delete these because you don't need them right now. And then for the body, just click on the plus sign right here, go to animation, and then under the gear over here, also enable support for, I know this is in the way. I don't know if you guys see that. Maybe it's just me, but I'm going to go back over to the body, add animation. Body animation. And then you can, under the gear over here, allow incompatible skeletons up at the bottom, towards the bottom rather. And then I'm gonna look, for example, for soldier. And here a bunch of animation files that I was able to export from iClone and brought them into the Unreal Engine. Now, what's really neat is iClone has the same UE skeleton that has been updated that makes it so much easier for us to add like animation that doesn't have broken fingers and the body is not like mangled. So make sure when you're exporting out of iClone that you use that the UE5 profile. So I'm gonna pick up maybe like soldier over here, temp, this one, motion. So I'm gonna rewind, and I always try to do this on the first frame, but if I play it back, you can actually see the soldier walking over there. Let me move him back a little bit. Maybe he's over here. So the idea for this character was supposed to be for the shots that I'm working on, he's going to be walking in the corridor over there, right? So actually, this one has a gun. So that one might actually be a good one to apply this animation. So when we play back, see how he has like the gun like that? If we add that animation to him, and I'm going to add him to the sequence over here, I'm going to make sure that he is using custom mode. Okay, that's good. And we're going to remove the control rig for the body and also the face. So that's him right here. And we're going to take him to the corridor. So I'm going to go over to the corridor over here, focus on him. So he's supposed to be walking through the corridor in the station over here. So we'll have him coming from that direction. Now, if the character is too small, because I don't think he's gonna be like 5'4". It's gonna be a little bit bigger than that. So we can always increase the height, maybe like around there. And so we have him here. He doesn't have animation yet, but we can actually go back and see like the one that we used on this character right here, that's Soldier M2, that one we're gonna use on him over here. So go to the body, add animation. I'm going to look for soldier. And I'm going to use that same one right there. There he goes. Now he has the gun. He's going to be patrolling the corridor. And depending again on the story that you're trying to tell, I'm going to press play. So there he goes, walking around the station, guarding whatever it is. So you can, in iClone, you can make this looped and actually make it go longer, which is really neat. So even if it looks like he was working for just a short period of time, you can actually make it go a much longer. So now you have the character in here with animation. You can have multiples of these, like another soldier could be coming from that direction so that you add a little bit of life. So if you have a shot over on this side, you'll be able to see some of the soldiers like walking past, which adds like that nice touch that this station is not empty, right? So, but that's how you add animation to the characters that you brought in from CC5. And as you can see, they look great in here. And if I added a camera, you can actually see that it looks great with the depth of field. Let me just move this down over here for a second. I'm going to go to perspective. I'm going to create a camera over here, assign camera actor. And I'm going to switch that. I'm going to add the camera to the sequence, and we're going to focus in on that one. So now I can go to the camera and change some of the settings here in the details panel. So right now it's 18 millimeter. So if you're a photographer, I think you'll be having fun with this. We can do a 50 millimeter, and then we can focus in on that. and do the focus settings over here. We can select as soldier, and we can bring the focus up to like right there, but you can also make it track the character, right? So if you're making like a thumbnail for your short film, boom. And you can see how beautiful that looks, right? So that's what I wanted to walk you through, guys, that you can create CC5 characters, bring them into the Unreal Engine with textures that look amazing, like that. And that's made possible because of these plugins that you see under the Realism tab over here. Make sure you have the character creator and iClone auto setup, the character creator UE control rig. And when you go to your hub, the Realism hub, there's the auto setup over here for the Unreal Engine. So this Unreal Engine auto setup, if you go to the product home, when you download this file, it's going to include a CC underscore shaders. So that particular folder, let me see if I can actually find it in my folder over here. Don't try to import the CC5 characters without this folder. Let me see if I can, I have it already. Is it cinematic over here? So if I go to one of my projects, I go to content, it's this CC underscore shaders folder. This one contains all the shaders it contains all the files that are needed to convert the shaders of the character creator files into the Unreal Engine so that they look realistic, photorealistic. If you don't have it, it's not going to work. So make sure that before you import these characters from character creator, that you have that folder installed in there. But that's what I want to show. So Kai, over to you. I hope that was helpful, guys.
Yeah, that was awesome. Like someone mentioned in the comments here, Panache mentioned all this data in an hour. Well done, bro. So we got a lot of stuff to learn in this last hour. A little speed course in the iClone to Unreal Engine animation pipeline here. So thanks again so much, Solomon, for being with us today. That's awesome for sharing your knowledge with us. As I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, guys, we're going to have a little Q&A now. So if you have any questions for either of us, let us know in the Q&A panel. And as you're probably aware, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll have to join the Zoom panel here in order to get your questions in. So, all right, we got some questions that started even before the webinar started. Helene asks, when creating the morphs from HD characters to use with the actor mixer wheel, the process takes 10 to 20 minutes for a desktop with a 4090. Is this normal? Um, Not really, Helene. I'm not sure if you've ever had that issue, Solomon, taking that long.
Yeah, let me see if I can, or is it on your machine? Uh, so it is possible, but one thing that I do recommend, let me see if I can share my screen again real quick. Hope that might be able to share. Can you see my screen?
Yep, yep.
Okay, let me get out of F11.
I mean, for me, the only thing I could think of that took that long for me is, like you said, when you import the characters into Unreal with the subdivision level 2. That's the longest I've encountered
Yeah.
in quite a
So I
while.
think what I might point out is that if you are in the actor mixer, lower your subdivision, right? For sure. Make sure that the character is not like subdivided. And I would also recommend that you do it without the clothing and all of that, because again, all those things add up to eating up your memory. So
Mm.
for example, if I do, let's see, the helmet with the goggles, press J. So if I go to the actor mixer over here and I'm doing the current one, click start. If you enable a lot of other things, so if you look at the top here, you can see the frames per second. Right now it's 742, which is like not good. So that gives you an idea of what, like right now, I don't think it's a good time to do that. So what I'll do is probably first close that. I need to lower this, increase the frames per second, right? So I want to, first of all, like even the actor mixer, I'll be, for example, when I activate the editor, I want the textures to go back to 2048 because right now I have them at 4096. Okay, so it does make a difference how high the quality is right here, and also up at the top here. This is set to high in my viewport. So just a second.
And what's the GPU you're using? Because you have a lot of VRAM there for sure.
Yes, I do. So
Yeah.
so let me go ahead. Let me just deactivate this for a second. So it's 885 right now in terms of frames per second. And you can actually see the memory right now. It's actually using what 4.5 gigabytes in this particular scene. And so what I need to do then is once it's done here, I'll go to, instead of using high, I'll do quick mode. And quick mode, you see how the FPS jumped? So before it was 8, but now I'm getting like at least 43 frames per second, like when I'm navigating over here, 44, 45. So it does help when you're doing the actor mixer. Let's go back and start here. So that's a tip that I think I would suggest that you do is that try to work in quick mode. Make sure that you're not using subdivision at the time. So right now I can click on start mixing. But you're right, because this is a process intensive, workflow. But you can see now I'm able to do that without lagging. But even then, it dropped like 33 as I'm adjusting from one to the other. So 22. So this is a lot of work that is happening behind the scenes that the program is doing. So in between these, it does help to just lower the settings of some of your things, turn off the clothing, get that memory back as much as possible.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, thanks for that. There's a number of different resource saving tips there. It's good for, poor people like us that just have 4090s or 4070s and stuff like that. So
I do
um
I do wish my GPU for everybody. I wish I could give it does make a difference.
absolutely. Okay, got next one, another one here from Oleg. Video mocap question. Do temporary points from purchases can they be used as DA points or need to purchase DA points separately? Um, so DA points can be used interchangeably with, any credit card stuff. Like on our stores, you can use DA points on any of our stores. For those of you who aren't familiar, DA stands for direct access points, and this is like the Realusion's virtual currency. So it can be used interchangeably on the software store, any store really, with any of our points, any of our promos. So I don't think there's any restrictions there, Oleg. But thanks for the question. Got a question from Amrit. I want to ask you that I can control the facial animations of my CC5 characters in Unreal Engine using the iPhone. Like, can I control the facial animations for metahumans? Yeah, so we just mentioned here that now we have the compatible facial rigs
Yeah.
with character creator characters and metahuman characters. I'm actually doing a webinar myself next week, which will talk a little bit about how to do the facial animation editing in Unreal, both in iClone and Unreal. So we'll talk about that compatibility
Yeah.
next week if you want to subscribe for that. But yeah, they're fully compatible now. That's the newest update, which is really cool. Maybe I'll throw a link in the chat here for you guys. I had one prepared. There's a couple pages that we have on MetaHuman Pipeline. You can actually just go to
Yeah.
realusion.com/metahuman.
And
Um,
actually, let me show you something if he's wondering about that for the
sure.
facial mockup. So this character that has been converted from CC5, when you go to the character on the right-hand side here in the details panel, if you look all the way down here, let me see, just go up to the top a little bit more.
Oh, we're not.
You
You're
can
not sharing your
see,
screen right now.
oh, sorry. Let me do that again. My apologies. All right, can you see my screen now?
Yep, all good.
Okay. So in terms of facial animation for this CC5, so even though this character came from character creator, because of the HD profile, the new HD profile in CC5, that conversion that we did, where we converted this character, or like when we imported it in here, these rigs right here. So under the captain folder, what I showed you was this uh, skeleton mesh that has like a purple pinkish tag. When you right click on it and you create a CC control rig, that will create this folder. And in that folder is going to be this blueprint, which is the one that I dragged into the scene over here and I added to the sequence. Now that sequence, I mean, this particular blueprint has support for MetaHuman Animator. So when you select the character and go to the details panel under here, you can actually see use MetaHuman Animator enabled. So watch this. I'm gonna go to, let's go to over here to virtual production. I'm gonna bring up live link. I'm gonna add a source. I'm gonna do live link oh, hold on a second. I think I did not install the plugin on this one. So if you go to plugins, make sure that under all plugins, go to MetaHuman and make sure you enable all these MetaHuman Creator, all of these, and MetaHuman Live Link over here, and then restart. So let me go ahead and restart just in case. I'll just see if I can show it to you. Save. So I'll stop sharing until it restarts. I'll be able to demonstrate it afterwards.
Okay, cool. We'll go to the next one from Chris here, anyways. Then,
Yeah.
as Unreal is a game engine, I found iClone better for animation editing, camera moves. When should I transfer to Unreal? Lighting, environment, render only? That's a good question, Chris. Me personally, I mean, I do all the animation editing in iClone for the most part. Sometimes there's tweaks you want to do in Unreal, which we just mentioned. Solomon showed you can use the MetaHuman Animator with the HD facial profile fully compatible. But generally, myself, I do my editing. I might be a little bit biased working for Realism, but I do a lot of most of my editing in iClone for sure. Any of the other stuff like lighting, environment, Unreal. Yeah. How
Yeah,
about you,
because
Solomon?
I started off working in Motion Builder and using the CAD system in 3ds Max, but I quickly found like I could do so much more inside of iClone, especially with motion capture editing, and it made it so much easier for me to bring in characters into the Unreal Engine that way. So I do all my animation in iClone, and then I export my characters into the Unreal Engine for rendering.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty common workflow now. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for that question, Chris. Are we ready to answer that question from, or you were in a demo did your project
Yeah,
restart yet or?
it's starting right now. It's still
Oh, okay.
restarting. Yeah,
Okay.
we can move on to the next one.
We'll go to the next one from Oleg here then. In a past webinar, you said it was possible to remove accessories and cloth in Unreal from transferred characters. Where in Unreal is that option? I only see a blueprint and merged mesh on CC characters. Okay, so good question. When you export your characters to Unreal from iClone, um, you do have the separate mesh. I think it merges it, right? It merges all the clothing and accessories onto the character.
Yeah, it does. And what you
Yeah.
can do is you can change the opacity on the textures.
Hmm.
That yeah, because each object that is on the character, it has like a main map under which has opacity settings. So you can actually turn off the visibility of that particular object by turning off the opacity. I mean, turning down the opacity of the texture.
Right. Thanks for that. That's a good solution. I think that I've never really wanted to remove stuff when it's once it's in Unreal. I just kind of re-import it back into Unreal from iClone. That process is normally pretty fast for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, good call, Oleg, that it does merge the mesh on the CC characters. I never really thought about that, but
Yeah. Okay. I think my scene has loaded. Let me see if I can demonstrate
cool.
that. All right. Let me share my screen. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So the character is selected over here. This is the sergeant with a gun that is walking through the corridor. But because we're able to convert that rig using the new control rig, here it is MetaHuman Animator support. So I was trying to go to over here, go to virtual production and then live link. And then I'm going to add the source. Click on add source over here. I'm going to do MetaHuman video. Select that MetaHuman video. And I'm using video device as my webcam as a video device. And I recommend having a webcam that is 60 frames per second, even if the dimensions is 1280 by 720, but as long as it's 60 frames per second, right? I'm going to give it a name, Solo Sweat. Let's enter, and then I'm going to connect. And it should turn green any moment now. Hopefully it does. Okay, input video. I think it's because I'm using my camera on Zoom.
Oh,
Let me
possibly,
see.
yeah.
Yeah, let me see. Is it possible to turn the camera off right now? Let me go to Zoom real quick. Zoom, where are you? Video, turn video off. And then go back to the Unreal Engine. Go back to Live Link. We delete that. Let's add source. MetaHuman video. MetaHuman video. Solo. Connect. Come on, camera, please. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Good
Okay.
troubleshooting.
Yeah. All right. So if your camera is being used by a different program, it's not gonna show up here. I think someone had actually asked that maybe their webcam was being used by something else, but it won't turn green if there's
Mhm.
another program that is using the webcam. So, and over here we can choose the input video. So you can actually, hey guys, this is me over here. So it's selected, and now it's actually active. I'm able to stream. So if I minimize this and go here to the MetaHuman Animator subject name, drop down, click on Solo, and then I'm going to enable use MetaHuman Animator. Ah, there we go. So you can see me over here now talking. So you're able to, well, the mic is in the way. You're able to record this animation. So this is neat, and just so captures the head movement as well.
That's excellent.
Yeah. So if you had like a whole script that you had written, again, if you don't have an iPhone, this can also work with an Android phone. All you need is really is just a video source, and it's using a MetaHuman Animator over there. Yeah, I'm
Awesome. That's
gonna,
huge. Yeah.
yeah.
And that's just on the fly, no preparation. Like you're not even prepared for
No,
the for the capture. Yeah.
no, not at all. And I think it's this. We'll go back to character creator. It's this facial profile here. I'm going to make sure the character is selected. Click on this to get out of this. Close that. But it's this profile here. When the character is selected, you go to edit expressions. It's this CC5 HD profile that's making it possible. So if your character is a CC3 character, make sure you convert that character into a CC5 HD profile, and then you'll be able to do what we're doing right now in the Unreal Engine like that.
Awesome. All right. We got a few more questions here. I think we got some time. Another
Okay.
question from Philippe. Um, oh, okay. I guess he had a Spanish question and deleted it. Is it possible to add new heads in Actor Mixer? I mean, if you have another different model that I've already created. Yeah, we get asked this question all the
Mhm.
time. Not at the
Yeah.
moment, unfortunately. So that's currently a process in development, but that will be available, and I've been hearing something about early next year. But you can, yeah, probably count on that. That'll be a new feature in the future for sure. I know there was a few people already that asked that question in the chat. A question from Mason. Can you explain when to and when not to use embedded textures on export from CC5 settings for Unreal Engine? When I check it, I have improper opacity on the eyes and hair of the character. Let's see. Embedded textures. When you're exporting to Unreal Engine, I don't embed the textures. I know normally for Blender, I definitely don't embed the textures. How about your when you export to Unreal, Solomon? You probably use a lot more than I do.
Yeah, the reason I embed the textures is I want to usually find them if I need to like apply the normal math. For example, I want to know the names of those textures, but for the most part, you don't really need to embed it. It will automatically convert the textures once. Yeah,
Yeah, and it depends on how you export too. If you use
yeah,
LiveLink, it just does it automatically. But if you use the
yeah,
auto export from Character Creator, there is an option to embed the textures, which I don't use. So
yeah.
uh, generally, with those two pipelines that I use the most often, Unreal and Blender, I don't embed. Um, okay, next question from Philippe again. Do all the movements or face or actor movements in CC5 and iClone 8 can they be replicated or exported to Unreal Engine 5 and created instead of creating this starting in Unreal Engine 5? Yeah, absolutely they can. Yeah. So Solomon's doing the live broadcast using MetaHuman Animator right now, which is looking pretty good. And yeah, but you can also just import those live into Unreal from iClone using iClone Live Link. You can pre-record the motions in iClone and import them in afterwards. There's so many ways you can do it now. It's just really cool. A lot of options for you depending on your workflow.
Yeah.
Question from Tanner. I sometimes encounter a bug where I'm unable to activate the drop-down menu of the target tool preset when trying to export a clothed character. Anyone tips on getting around this? That's when
Let
you're
me
exporting
see.
from Character Creator, I guess. Choosing the target tool preset once you
So,
export.
like when you go to File,
Yeah, I think that's what he's talking
Export,
about. And
and
like
then you go
FBX
to
maybe.
FBX, and then the clothed character. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, because there'll be a target tool preset on the top after you
Okay,
click
so
that.
clothed character, and
Yeah.
then over here, and then you drop down.
Yeah, I've
5.
never had that issue.
Yeah. So
Tanner might want to get in touch with customer support in that case. It seems like it's maybe a bug of some kind.
yeah.
'Cause I've never had that issue myself. So you can't be of more help with that, Tanner, but that's definitely a tech support question. We can't really do live on the air here. Okay, so another question from Philippe, very inquisitive fellow. Is there any basic configurations that would work fine with CC5 and iClone 8 new capabilities as actor, mixer, and mocap? I mean, it doesn't really matter what your character looks like. They're all going to behave very similar. Um, yeah, I don't really know what more I can say to answer that one. But yeah, just don't
So
make your character's features too crazy. Sorry, go ahead, Son.
now, what was the question again?
Is there any basic configurations that would work fine with CC5 and iClone 8 capabilities as actor mixer and mocap? So I'm not sure.
Mm,
It's a little bit unclear for me.
yeah. So let me see. So I'm gonna select this character, and I'm gonna send it to iClone just so I can explain something. So right now, what I just did was I selected a character. There's an option here in Character Creator 5 that makes it possible to send this character into iClone, and then you're able to animate it, right? So let's go to iClone over here. And when you bring that character in here, again, since you're going to be animating in iClone, you need to be able to see animation is visible over. Yes, that's okay. You need to drop down this high to quick mode as well, right? And when you're animating in here, if you're doing like using the edit motion layer, again, I recommend always being on the first keyframe. And also you can drop down the timeline, get it out of the way, because it does give you back some frames per second. But everything that you do in here in terms of compatibility with CC5, the character is going to come in with the shaders that came in from CC5, right? But if you are going to animate, again, make sure you switch to quick mode. Don't animate in high mode. But when you're ready to preview, then you can click on high mode and you can preview in here, right? And so the cool thing is that in under the content tab, under the template, uh, Realism has made it possible that CC5 and iClone share a folder in terms of the library. So you could literally go to the set. Like if I go down here to the set, or rather, sorry, the stage, under the atmosphere tab, there's a bunch of lighting sets that are intended for CC5, right? But you can double click on them and then you're able to preview your character here as well, just like you would in a character creator. So this again for previewing to see the final result. But if you're going to be animating in iClone, then definitely drop it down to quick mode and then turn off the clothing as well so that you have easier control over the motion capture and editing the animation itself.
Nice. Yeah, I often even just click on the auxiliary lighting button too. Do you know
Yeah.
the auxiliary lighting? Yeah, just click on that, it just
Yeah.
goes flat. Yeah. That
Yeah.
often saves some resources.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the Philippe's question. Michael Lemon uh, mentions great stuff, but the level of realism is looking still like more like AAA video games. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it really depends on how far you go with it. If you're going for like,
Yes.
8K textures and like super realistic lighting, that's going to take you 10 minutes to render, 1 second. Then
Yeah.
yeah, it really depends. But this, yeah,
Yeah.
what
So
you're seeing. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, sorry, Kai. So I was going to say that this right here is what you've just seen in a live demo. So imagine if you've put in like maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, you'll be able to add a lot more detailing to get these characters to look that great. And because I exported with Sub D1, I'm losing a lot of the detail which is needed in subd, which can be recovered in subd2, but subd2 takes a long time to import. But you just have to be patient. You have to be willing to be patient to get that kind of detail inside here.
Absolutely, yep. Or you can spend $20,000 on your GPUs and use some render farming stuff if you want to. That's always an option.
Yeah.
All right, got a question from Drake here. Is there a way to make the iris or its inner color glow in either CC5 or iClone? So the inner
Yeah.
part of the iris to glow. Yeah, I've done that before. You can do that.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't transferred the key. So there's actually a tutorial. Maybe Drake, I'll find this tutorial for you. It's actually specifically about the eyes. It's on YouTube. I think you just search CC5 eyes probably. Yep, here you go. HD is the first one that pops up because we made this a month ago. So instead of going through the whole demo for that, Drake, I'll just copy this and put it in the chat for you if you're interested about all the different eyes features because we have the new HD eyes with Character Creator 5, which are really great. You
Yeah.
can
And
also
really
add
what
glow
to
maps. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
exactly right here, the glow map, exactly. What Kai was referring to is the glow right here. You can use that to be able to add that if you have the texture that's is specific to that. Yep.
Yeah, when I started in the early days, I used to always want to like make my character's eyes really cool and glowing like vampires, so I know all about doing that stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. And then Drake's mentioning here as well about the head skin color. It changes the rest of the body when you turn SkinGen on. The body changes color. You try to change it, correct? Yeah, so there's Drake, you're mentioning there's a kind of a little bit of a skin color bug sometimes that occurs when you're using SkinGen to adjust the head's color. Like you mentioned, it also adjusts the body color relatively
Yeah.
similar. But sometimes you'll
So
get a
I
little bit
think,
yeah.
yeah, that for that part, let me see if I can actually demonstrate it real quick.
Mm,
What I usually use is the metallic setting as opposed to the color of the head.
mhm.
Yeah, because the metallic setting is more of an overall change as opposed to adjusting the specific texture of the head. That one will not work really well. Let me see if I can demonstrate it here
Very
once it
good point.
comes
Yeah.
through. Yeah. So the workaround could be like the character, this is the base, right? So if you're looking at the body right now, let me see, showing all of them. So if I'm gonna go down here and under the metallic, right? So if I wanted the character to be darker, for example, I can change the contrast over here. So this is the body. You can see the body right there. So let me actually reset that to 0. Let's pick the head. All right, select the base skin color and scroll down to the metallic. And don't forget to bake this if you want it to be permanent when you're exporting. So we're going to adjust the contrast over here. So now you're getting a darker character. You actually see the difference right here. So I think I don't know if what you were trying to do was selecting the head texture, this one, and changing its color. That's not going to do it. It's better to use the metallic and then bake the metallic. So right now, if I switch to the body, watch what happens. There you go.
Hmm.
So it has made it. Does that help?
I didn't even know that myself. That's that's incredible. Really
Yeah.
cool.
So
Thanks
it,
for that
it
tip.
works for it works for Caucasian characters,
Mhm.
Asian characters, black characters. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Cool. I'll have to remember that one. That's a very good
Yeah.
tip.
So you can go back. We made it darker. You can also make it lighter. So go back again, go to the metallic over here, increase the contrast. Actually, no, let's start with the head. Select skin base, scroll down, look for metallic, and increase the contrast all the way to make it lighter. And you can also increase the brightness up to a point.
That's wild.
Yeah, and then once you're done, click the body. Boom. And it
That's
does it
awesome.
all the way down. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Good to know. So that's a pro tip, everyone. Never. I mean, generally the idea is just to, mess around with the base colors and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I've never specifically used the metallic just by itself. That's really cool.
Yeah. Because the base, if you do the textures by themselves one by one,
Hmm.
those are textures.
Hmm.
So if you change the color of the texture, it's not going to populate as well as if you use like metallic.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I've always just messed around with the color, not the base color map, but the other ones.
Yeah.
Never really messed around with metallic. Really cool. Okay, cool. Let's go to the next question here. We'll do a few more questions, guys. We got another maybe 15 minutes or so. Does live link for CC characters work the same way as metahuman characters, such as taking recorders, etc.? This question's from Ariel Christabel. Does live link for CC characters work the same way as metahuman characters? Such as using the take recorder. Yes, it does. That's live link. So if you're using live link, you can actually send over, you can send over your takes automatically, and it populates the sequencer with your takes with the live link plugin. So there's an option to do that. Again, the live link plugin for iClone costs a little bit of money. It's not free. All the other options are free, but live link does just save you a lot of time if you can wing it. Okay, a question from Chris. When should we stop using 3D and start using AI? Um, so we we currently have a beta going on using basically rendering. It's an AI plugin for iClone where you can render AI videos and images from iClone, and you can edit them by editing your character's poses and using all sorts of different LoRa's to train your images. Um, but I don't think that AI will ever honestly replace, general 3D artists. There's always going to be a demand for it. The main thing that happens with AI is when you want detailed iterations, detailed modifications and changes, AI is still kind of dumb. Like it can't really do a lot of those detailed modifications that you want. Like I want this specific thing. I mean, it'll pump out something, but however it's trained, the way that AI is trained determines its output, right? Um, so it's still sketchy. It's still up in the air, you know. AI is only as smart as what trains it, in my opinion. I think using a combination of AI with 3D tools is going to be the best workflow. I don't know. You have a take on that, Solomon? I don't know if you use much AI in your
Yeah,
workflow.
yeah. My recommendation is that if you intend to create a original IP, right? Um, I think stick with 3D because you'll be able to copyright it. Anytime that you choose to get your to create IP based on the generative AI, it's gonna have legal issues. You may not be able to because if you get a character that has similarities to Disney characters and it was used AI to create it, then you might run into some legal hurdles there. So I that's why I think 3D, like custom 3D, still has a place in this industry because you're able to create your own original IP that you can market as original and you can also sell, if you so choose to do it.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's fun for memes. I've seen some pretty funny AI memes, but you do get tired of it after a while. But yeah, there's you can have discussions for hours and hours on AI and stuff. So the next question, anyways, from Lee James. Does this MetaHuman Live Link support full body motion? Yeah, absolutely. To answer that quickly. Um, Next question from Emi Okoye. What is the system spec that Solomon's working with? I have the RTX 4090. I think you have a 6000, right?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me see if I can actually. I can show you my system, my specs.
I have a
My system.
4092, Emmy, so don't worry.
Where's my rig? Let's see. It's trying to install. Okay, but I do have a 6000 ADA, and let me go. I have 256 gigabytes of RAM, and so it's a really a monster machine.
That gives you plenty to work with.
Yeah, it really, and I don't know if I can mention it on this stream, but it it was a blessing from somebody else. I don't think I could have afforded it yet. All right, let me see if I can see my system over here. Uh, Is my system rig graphics? Wait. Okay,
There you
so
go.
those are my specs. It's a AMD Ryzen Threadripper 3970X 32 core, and it has 256 gigabytes of RAM.
That's a lot of RAM.
Yeah, and NVIDIA RTX 6000 ADA, which has 48 gigabytes of RAM on it.
Oh,
So this would be the ideal machine for Unreal Engine animation and rendering.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Can't beat it. All right, let's go to the next one. Anyways, so start saving your pennies, guys. If Are there any special? Sorry, is in position of any special characters? Okay, if in Unreal Engine 5 there is a position or any special characteristics of the characters used in Solomon's demo, could you export this character again to CC5 and iClone? Have you ever done
No,
that
there's
before?
no. So if you, yeah, so I have exported a MetaHuman from the Unreal Engine into CC5, but I stopped And actually, people keep asking me when am I going to do a tutorial on that?
Mm,
Because the Realism team is working on something, I don't know if I'm at liberty to say.
mm.
I stopped because there's a solution coming, but it is possible to export the MetaHuman from the Unreal Engine and bring it into CC5 and then rig it using the CC5 rig and then be able to use iClone to animate it.
Yeah, I
Now,
think that's
yeah,
that's that's something that we what I always say is basically we're going to be as compatible as possible with the Unreal ecosystem, and so anything that any desired workflow like that, it'll be integrated at some point, but you just can't say when. So um, cool. Uh, let's have a couple more questions, and then we'll sign off. Fernando asks, comparing AccuFace and face capture of Unreal, which one uses more of all the potential of the CC5 characters? That's a good question, to be honest. I mean, you just saw Solomon's live demo with the CC5 character. The facial animation was excellent. Again, with the CC5 characters, they have the same HD facial rig now as the MetaHuman characters. So capturing with AccuFace and capturing in Unreal, man, I don't know. It's hard to say. I have a lot of success myself with the iPhone. I always just whip out the old iPhone and do my facial capture there. Um, AccuFace, in my experience, requires a bit more setup. But once you get that accuracy, once you get that ideal recording scenario environment, then AccuFace can be a really excellent tool. But when it comes to something that just, Solomon just whipped out that demo with the soldier character, and he's not even in an ideal lighting position and everything like that, that worked really well as well. Um, so I think there's benefits and drawbacks of each option. Um, but yeah, I can't really give a solid answer on mine, except that I really enjoy using the iPhone. So that's what I
yeah.
normally
So
use.
for AccuFace, I think the way I break it down is the characters in your story. You're going to have background characters and then you're going to have hero characters. So if I'm going to create a story for a hero character, then I'm probably going to use the MetaHuman Animator because now that data can come back to CC5 and iClone. So it makes it even better you can send the characters and render them in the Unreal Engine. And then you can edit them even more. You can actually export. There's a tutorial that I made where you can export even after you've done the animation in the Unreal Engine. You can still bring it back to CC to iClone, fix it, add some nuances in there, and then send it back to the Unreal Engine and apply to the same character. So for background characters, yes, AccuFace, and then for the hero characters, the MetaHuman Animator with our iPhone or even Android phone and webcam.
Hmm, good point. Yeah. Having the backwards compatibility is really important for the editing. Man, Philippe, another question, eh? Okay, I think we talked about, Philippe's next question, which is about, your system resources, the kind of graphics cards that you need. To do the stuff that we're doing in this webinar, I would require at least NTX 30 or sorry GTX 3070 NVIDIA. Um, Personally, again, I have a 4090 which with only 8 GB, which works decently with me. Uh, I have to do a lot of those things that Solomon showed earlier, like, change it to quick lighting, try to, don't have too many high resolution materials. All these little things, you learn to work with them when you have limited systems. But yeah, I think, the 4000 generation NVIDIA is what you should try to strive for at this point. Let's go to the next question from Gustavo here. Thanks. Great webinar. Thanks, Gustavo. Thanks for taking the time to do this. I'm not sure how to edit my textures once I export from CC5 to UE5. I find that UE5 turns the materials into instances. Yeah, we briefly touched on that in a previous question when it came to importing the characters from CC5 to Unreal. It does bake everything. So you don't have that option to do the editing, with the exception of this thing like that Solomon mentioned earlier. You can adjust the opacity and you can adjust the various values, but it's all going to be that merged material map. So just be aware of that. Another question from Emmy. Is it time to leave Realism and go full AI? No, don't leave us, Emmy. No, just I say have fun with it. Yeah, have fun with it and follow where your heart takes you.
Oh, Kip, I think Kip had asked, how many frames delay from your voice to animation of MetaHuman from video would you guess it is? So there's a feature in the MetaHuman video, like when you're using the uh, live link, that makes you can actually delay by 0.05, and that will match the delay. That compensates for that delay.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Mhm.
All right. Well, a few more here. Let's try and find someone we haven't answered yet. Gustavo here asks, how do you animate keyframe expressions for a cinematic live link session? He's asking that for Solomon.
I think you need to bake the animation to the control rig first before you can add keyframe animation. Then you can add another layer to that animation as an additive layer, and then you can keyframe using the control board on the face rig for even the CC5 characters that are in the Unreal Engine.
Yeah. Gustavo, if you're interested, we'll have a demo on that next week when I do that HD facial webinar as well. And I'll do that in both Blender and Unreal. Okay, Phil asks a question. Is there a discount available for veterans? Unfortunately, I don't think that we do have any veteran-specific discounts. I do wish that we did. We just have the student and educator discounts, Phil, but yeah, it's something that we don't have, and it's not really up to me to have that. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't.
I'll vote for it.
Yeah, I'll vote for it as well, 110%.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we
yeah,
should bring it up in discussion. So yeah, thanks for that, Phil. But I don't have any good news for you, unfortunately, on that. But I can talk to our team about it and hopefully get something in the future. At least we can have like a limited time promo or something. So
yeah.
um, all right. Is it possible? Philippe asks, is it possible for the soldier in Solomon's presentation at this moment to start walking in Unreal Engine scene and continue talking as he's doing? Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Actually, he can. Like, let me see if I can do a quick. Can I do a quick demo of it here?
Sure, go
Just a
for it.
second. Okay. Let me go back to share my screen. And my engine. There you go. That's bigger. Zoom the screen. Screen. Okay. All right. So you're wondering, can the character continue talking while walking at the same time? So here goes. We're gonna go and load the sequence. It's got our sequence folder over here. And we're gonna bring up the captain. Okay. And so you see how it went away initially? So I can press play, make sure, am I in the right sequence? Just to be careful, check real quick. It's the demo one. Okay,
There you
so there he is. If I went and play back, yeah, hello, hey guys.
go.
Who's in the office today? Let me loop it so you can actually see it. What's up, Captain? Yo, what are you doing over there? Yeah. So yeah, it is possible to talk. You can talk and walk at the same time. So like a VTuber almost, yeah.
Mhm. Awesome. The VTuber in full police uniform.
Yeah, that's his side hustle. Why he's on the SWAT team.
That's great.
Yeah.
Kip says, but not chew bubblegum. Well, you have to get some bubblegum first.
Yeah.
There you go. Just simulate it.
I can chew bubble gum while I walk too.
Kip is asking here, how many frames of delay would you guess that is for the screen capture? I think you just mentioned that, right?
Yeah,
Is that the
so
question you just answered? Yeah.
yeah, let me show it to you. Let me get close over here. So I'm gonna say hi, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I wanted to kind of increase the accuracy of that, I'll go back to live link, go to live link over here, and I can actually, you can see if you can zoom in and see if the lips match up. Ba, ba, black sheep. So that's actually pretty close to
Yeah.
real time. But
Not bad.
if you
Yeah.
wanted, yeah, so here you can see frames per second. If you scroll all the way down, there's where is that setting? I think I have to go down all the way to calibration. Properties, no, not that. Smoothing. Where's that setting? Let me go back over here. Okay, so here it is, offset. So this offset, I had this selected, but you need to click on the MetaHuman video, and then the offset over here is do like 0.5 seconds. And then if we go back and then try to match it, so that's a little bit more, it's closer. So that you can play with that setting and then see how well the results that you're getting. So I'm going back over here. This is the one that the offset that I'm talking about. So if you play with this, you'll be able to see it getting closer and closer.
Awesome. That's a really good tip.
Yep.
Okie dokes. All right, guys. I'm gonna do a few more questions here, and then we'll sign off at the end of the hour here. Ariel asks, does live link for CC characters work the same way as MetaHuman characters, such as using the tape recorder, etc.? I think we answered that one earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's the same.
Yeah. So you'd have essentially take recorder is over here. You make sure that the character that you're working with is added to take recorder. So whatever is being, like if whatever the character is doing, once you press record, it's going to record that. So if it's live link that is driving this character from iClone and you press record, as long as the character is added here, you'll be able to save that animation that's on this character.
Hopefully that helped Ariel there. Another question from Drake. Okay, so this is about the skin things. Um, Talking about the materials. Yeah, b baking is going to be required, Drake, when you want to keep the skin color. After you close down SkinGen, it'll ask if you want to bake all your changes, so just be aware of that. And the next question here was is the glow option a mask? How would I get the iris and inner iris te texture formats to turn them into really accurate masks? Again, Drake, that opens up a whole can of worms that is kind of shown a little bit in that this is a question from 20 minutes ago already. So, um, yeah, the tutorial video that I sent Drake on the HDIs, like if you just type in HDI Realusion, you should be able to find. I think there's another tutorial on it that gets into some different detail. Yeah, but the one I sent is hopefully going to be sufficient for you to at least get your fingers wet on the details of the HDIs. Christine asks, "What is your cooling setup for your GPU, Solomon?"
Oh yeah, for my GPU,
Hmm.
I think it's, I mean, the team that built it did an amazing job of like the inside. It's I think it's liquid cooled on the inside, but also there's a bunch of fans in the inside of the GPU. It's pretty good.
Water cooled.
Yeah.
I've always been wanting to have like a really like if I get like to be some super millionaire, I'll have like a fish tank in my CPU, just like little fish floating around.
Yeah.
Uh, Okay, anonymous attendee asks, can I control facial animations of my CC5 characters in Unreal using the iPhone? Yes, you can.
Yep.
And also for metahumans. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah,
They're both fully
absolutely.
compatible. Yeah.
Yeah. So like let me point that out. So here where you have the live link, so instead of using MetaHuman video, you can still use ARKit, right? And when you drop down, you can actually see the live link face over here. That's from the iPhone. So I hope that helps.
All right. Cool. Yeah. All the sources you can use there.
Yeah.
Put animations from re-import the animations from Unreal to iClone. Is there some video where I can learn that workflow of how to return the fixed animations? Um, so in terms of exporting the animations from Unreal to iClone, I don't normally use that workflow. As I mentioned, I do all my motion editing in iClone and just transfer it over. Solomon, do you ever use a workflow where you edit the
Yes.
animations? Yeah.
Yeah, I actually did on like a project that I just finished. So I'll
Hmm.
create a tutorial and show people how to do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Um, we'll go to the next one here. Amrit has a bunch of questions here. Oh, these are all the same questions. Okay, yeah, I think we answered those questions, Amrit. They're just about the controlling the facial rigs, CC5 and MetaHuman facial rigs. And yep, you can use the iPhone for mo facial mocapping. That same question, same question. Oh, we don't have as many questions as I thought we did. It's just Amrit had a bunch of the same questions. So, but what's this animation right now? Is that just you?
Oh yeah, so this is me using the this is Rococo suit
Oh,
over
okay,
here.
gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah. So
imported in
one thing
Rococo
that I
motion.
wanted to point out is that with a motion capture suit, uh, it's like you get a little bit longer in terms of time when you're recording the mockup. But again, it's awesome to have the video mockup as an option. If you don't own a motion capture suite, then you can definitely use the video mockup as a way to create the mockup for the short film that you're working on. And that can be applied to a character in iClone that can then be sent to the Unreal Engine.
Okay, cool. So I think this is just let me just see if I'll throw this link in the give me one sec here. Drake mentioned I didn't the first video didn't answer too much of what he asking for. There's another video there, and those are the only two ones we have right now. We can probably link some more videos for eyes in the future, or create some more videos for specifically what you're talking about. But yeah, there's a lot of ways to do that. And if it doesn't work, and iClone or Character Creator, you can always add like eye glows and stuff in After Effects or other video editing software like that. Um, okay, Phil mentions, thanks for the informative and entertaining presentation. Thanks for being with us here, Phil. Awesome to have you along.
Yeah, thank you so much, Phil.
Steve Ladson, does that also include full body movement? I think we just kind of showed that with Solomon there. Um, Ankit asks, how can I add custom textures on the character using Substance Painter? So Ankit, we actually have special tutorials that talk about, customizing your character with Substance Painter. They're on our YouTube channel. If you guys go to the Learning Center from our main page, there's actually tutorials that are categorized according to different topics as well. I'll just show you really quickly here. For example, Substance Painter would be under Character Creator. Pipeline probably. So yeah, here's all our main pipeline tutorials for Character Creator. I'm gonna throw this in the chat for you guys. This is where you'll find, if you're using a specific pipeline like Maya, Max, or in Substance Painters here as well, you'll find all the tutorials categorized according to your preferred application. So you'll find those all here in this link that I just sent in the chat. Hello, Zola. Thanks for being here. It's a familiar name. So Ankit, hopefully that answers your question. Hopefully everyone gets to look at that link there. All right, and we've got one more question from Fernando. Is there some way to track an object like in Mocap using some tracker like Mocopi? We don't have any tracking options in iClone. Um, I've never used tracking in Unreal. Have you done any? Is there any sort of tracking plugin in Unreal, Solomon, that you've messed around
What
with?
kind of tracking are you referring to?
Yeah, tracking an object like in Mocap. That's what he's saying.
The kind of track, I guess you are you talking like if you had like a weapon and you wanted to track the weapon itself?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Like,
Is
okay,
that
so
the
yeah,
question?
'cause he said like a sword or something like that. Okay, so that's clarified. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
So right now, I think the only mockup suit that does that is the Xsense that has
Hmm.
that extra like sensor that you can apply. And you can also, if you have optical like space, you can add sensors to different like a chair, you know. Matt Workman, I think, did that. And so another thing that you can do, I think I've seen it done with Move AI, and I did it actually when I did that dunk video. I went to a basketball court. I had I wanted to dunk. I can't really dunk. It was like for kids. But it was fun anyways. I dunked on
Yeah.
that kid's basketball, and the Move AI was able to track the ball. In that one, I used six refurbished iPhone 7s, I believe.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So you need something like a system like that if you're going to track. But normally it's the motion capture suit that has an added tracker that you can
Hmm.
place on an object or an optical suit or environment that can track the markers that are on a specific object. Like, I think like you've seen it done with Avatar, with James
Yeah.
Cameron. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. Quick.
Um, so go
Sorry.
ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say Kip was asking, am I using Rococo with Core Pro? As a matter of fact, yes. And my next video is gonna be playing guitar because it's supposed to track the fingers and the frets much better. So look out for
Hmm.
that on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, we actually had a little bit of a Coil Pro webinar. This was over the summer, I believe, with Rococo. It went pretty well, so got some good results there. Panache asks, is Solomon only doing 2D or is he only doing 3D or are you doing 2D stuff as well?
Um, Together with my team, I do 2D as well. Like for my animated series, The Adventures of Nkosa and Nancha, we animate in 3D and 2D.
Hmm,
Yeah.
very cool. All right. Um, Ankit asks, can I retarget UE5 mannequin animations to CC5 characters? Yep, you can do that with the body compatibility rigs.
And you don't
Uh,
even need to retarget. You just really
yeah,
need to load the animation onto the sequencer.
yeah. Previous to CC5, you had to retarget, but now you just basically one-click application, so it's really easy to do now. Okay, we'll do the last question here, right at the time, right at the 8 o'clock time here. Can you track the iClone camera to the video background? Um, no, I don't think so. A lot of that stuff requires video compositing software, whereas iClone within iClone, it does require we're not like focused on the video tracking. So yeah, I would have to say a no for that, unfortunately, Chris. Um, so
Yeah, the only
well,
thing that you probably would, the way you would apply that is if you had something as a texture on a billboard in
mm.
iClone, then have the camera because the billboard will always face the camera in
Yeah,
iClone.
that's yeah, good point, good point. And you can also use look at constraint for the camera. I'm not sure if that would be considered too much tracking. Um, but you could have the camera track the position of something, or like Solomon mentioned, the billboard is an image or video that's always facing the camera. So those are two options for you there. All right. Cool. I think that's pretty cool. We had a nice long 2 hour webinar there. Thanks, Solomon, for staying up with us over there in the
You're welcome.
US.
And thank you so much, everyone that joined us from around the world.
Yeah, we had tons of people here. I think we had like a record-breaking webinar. We had over 140 people. So awesome to have everyone here, and thanks so much for your interest in everything that we're doing here. And thanks once again to the talented Solomon for showing us all kinds of cool stuff, especially in the Unreal Engine and iClone compatibility workflow. So yeah, anything you want to add there, Solomon?
Yeah, man, guys, like I always say, if you have an idea in your brain, it's gonna sit there. What I recommend is just write a story, use iClone and the Unreal Engine. There are so many free resources in the fab, that you can use as a starting point, and use some free iClone characters and some assets, and then begin there. Start to tell your story. Don't wait until you have everything ready, because just because I have a machine like this uh, doesn't mean that that's how I started out. When I was started out with my animated series, The Adventures of Nkosa and Nancha, it started off like as just a small idea. And I just used whatever I had. I didn't even have a head-mounted camera rig. At the time, motion capture suits were worth $50,000. I could not afford that, but made my own. I made my own head-mounted camera rig using my guitar stand and my wife's bike helmet. So use whatever you have.
That's awesome. All right. I put Solomon's YouTube channel in the chat just for everyone. But want to say adios and thank you so much, everyone, for being with us. Make sure you check out his channel. Make sure you check out our channel. We have new videos and new content coming up all the time. So I'll say goodbye, good afternoon, good morning, good evening to wherever you guys are in the world.
Good
And hopefully
night.
see you next week.
Musule bulungi, musibe bulungi. That's how I say it in my language. Bye,
Okay.
guys.
Later,
Okay,
guys.
bye.
Have a good one. Thanks, Solomon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.